Thank you, Madam President, and I appreciate having had the opportunity to yield to the Senator from New Mexico for his explanations. I think it's very important that we understand there are a lot of good things that we're looking at that are in this bill, but he so accurately points out the big problem we have today, not 10 years from now, but today, is supply. We need to do something about the supply, and the bill doesn't adequately address that. The amendment that I have called up, 1505, is essentially the same amendment that we considered in my Environment and Public Works Committee during the years that I served as the chairman. And it's one of these things where it's very difficult to figure out why anyone could vote against it, because it's all permissive. It allows states to do things. It doesn't mandate things. Now, I was pleased to hear the majority leader recognizing that the United States has become too reliant on foreign sources of energy. And unfortunately, the majority's bill at present doesn't improve the situation. And indeed, it could actually worsen it. The fact is that Americans are paying more at the pump because we do not have the domestic capacity to refine the fuels consumers demand. So we're talking about two things to resolve the problem of supply. One is production, and the other is you can have all the production in the world, but if you don't have the refining capacity, you can't get it refined so it can be used. Some members' answer are more hybrids than SUVs, but that ignores the profound impact high fuel prices have on our economy. According to the Department of Labor's recent numbers, about 3% of the nation's inflation is directly attributed to high fuel prices. That means whether your constituent drives a gas guzzler, a hybrid, or rides a bicycle, or walks, they're paying the same for high fuel prices. Now, in order to lower those prices, we have two options. We can increase the capacity at home or import more from abroad. The LA Times wrote in May 25th of 2007, just a few days ago, said, and this is a quote, "Gas supplies are tight because the United States lacks refining capacity. And every time a refinery shuts down for maintenance or because of an accident, prices rise. Americans are starving for affordable energy, and the majority's bill tells them to go on a diet." And that's good. We want to have these things in there to help with our consumption, but the energy bill really does nothing today in terms of taking care of a supply problem that we have. Now, the good news is it's not too late to do something to improve the situation, and it is in that good faith to improve the energy security position of our country that we are offering the Gas Price Act. The lack of domestic refining capacity is not new to many members or the public or even to the Federal Reserve. In May of 2005, Chairman Alan Greenspan stated, quote, "The status of world refining capacity has become worrisome, and that the industry is straining to meet markets which are increasingly dominated by transportation fuels that must meet ever more stringent environmental requirements. While the chairman of the Committee on Environment and Public Works, I held a series of hearings to look into this issue. The very same month I held one of those hearings, the senior senator from California, who was just on the floor speaking just a moment ago, Senator Feinstein, made this statement in a letter to the governor of California. And you can read it here. It says, "I can see where the cumbersome permitting process with uncertain outcomes would make it difficult to plan and implement projects. I encourage you to improve the speed and predictability of the permitting process and believe that this will allow business and government to focus on their limited resources on actions that most benefit the environment." And that was a statement that Senator Feinstein made in a letter to Governor Schwarzenegger, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. The amendment that Senator Thune and I are offering today will improve the energy security of the United States, and it will do so in complete compliance with environmental laws and in concert with state interests. In her letter to Governor Schwarzenegger, the senior senator from California was correct in recognizing that much of the permitting decisions are by states and not by the federal government. And that's why we work very hard to recognize the importance of state and local groups in making those decisions. This chart, the Environmental Council of States, who represents state departments of environmental quality, said as much. Now, keep in mind, this is the council that represents all of the different states' departments of environmental quality, as well as noting that the Gas Price Act does not weaken the environmental laws. Similarly, the National Association of Counties stated it goes a long way in addressing the concerns of local governments during a refining siting, ranging from the importance of considering local needs, concerns, and honoring the county's land use authority. I think it's important to point this out because it seems that time and time again, some of the members of this body hide behind the vague concerns over the environment in defending their failure to improve U.S. energy security. After working with a variety of stakeholders, this bill achieves both goals. It increases energy while preserving local governments and environmental equality. The fact that the matter is that, like it or not, the United States needs to increase its domestic refining capacity if we are to solve the economic struggles facing every family. The amendment we are introducing today redefines and broadens our understanding of a refinery to be a domestic fuels facility. Oil has and will continue to have a role in the United States economy, but the future of our domestic transportation fuel system must also include new sources such as the ultra-clean synfuels derived from coal and cellulosic ethanol derived from homegrown gases and biomass. Expanding the existing domestic fuels facilities or constructing new ones face a maze of environmental permitting challenges. And this is what the senator from California was talking about a few minutes ago.